There is an old saying, familiarity breeds contempt. What does this mean? It means that the more we see something, the more we take it for granted, the more we think we know someone, the less we value them. Have you ever experienced this? Maybe you have worked hard at your job, but your efforts go unnoticed. Maybe in your family, no one appreciates the sacrifices you make. Maybe people outside your town or village celebrate your talent, but those closest to you ignore it. If so, you are in a good company because Jesus himself experienced this. In today's Gospel, Mark chapter 6, Jesus returned to his hometown, Nazareth. He had been performing miracles, healing the sick, casting out demons, and teaching with great wisdom. People in other towns marveled at him, but in his hometown, they dismissed him. Isn't this the carpenter, the son of Mary? They scoffed. We know his family. How can he be someone special? Instead of celebrating him, they doubted him. Instead of embracing his miracles, they rejected him. And what was the result? Jesus could not perform many miracles there. Not because he lacked power, but because they lacked faith. The people of Nazareth missed out on their greatest blessing because Jesus seemed too familiar to them. Think about it. They had watched him grow up. They saw him as a carpenter, the son of Mary and Joseph. He was just one of them. So, when he began to preach with authority, they couldn't accept it. This still happens today. We fail to appreciate our parents until they are gone. We overlook the kindness of a friend because we have always had their support. We treat Sunday service as routine instead of an opportunity to encounter God. How often do we take things for granted just because they are familiar? A man dying of thirst in the desert would give everything for a glass of water, but in our homes, we don't even think twice about it. Why? Because it's always there. The same thing happens with God's blessing. The greatest miracles often come in the most unexpected ways. Because of the unbelief, the people of Nazareth missed the miracles Jesus could have done. He had healed a woman with an issue of blood in another town, but there they saw no miracles. He had raised Lazarus' daughter from the dead, as we read in yesterday's Gospel, but here, no great works. He had calmed the storm and cast out demons, but in Nazareth, nothing. Why? Because they refused to believe. Dear friends, doubt robs us of blessings. When we refuse to believe in God's power, we limit what He can do in our lives. Opportunities don't last forever. Nazareth had one chance to receive Jesus and they missed it. How many opportunities have we ignored because we didn't recognize them? Faith opens doors. In other towns, Jesus performed miracles because people believed. Faith is the key that unlocks God's power in our lives. Imagine two farmers praying for rain. One prepares his fields, the other does not. When the rain comes, only the prepared farmer benefits. Faith is like that. It prepares us to receive miracles. Faith opens doors, but doubt slams them shut. Nazareth's problem was not just that they didn't believe in Jesus. Their problem was that they failed to honor Him. Honoring means recognizing value. When we honor our parents, we recognize their sacrifices. When we honor our priests or pastors, we acknowledge their spiritual leadership. When we honor God, we open our lives to His blessings. Sometimes the greatest wisdom comes from unexpected places. Jesus was just a carpenter to them, but He was actually the Son of God. Sometimes God speaks to us through people we don't expect. Our spouse, a friend, a child. Don't ignore it. If you have food on your table, you are blessed. If you have breath in your lungs, God has given you another day. If you have a family and friends, cherish them while you can. Just because you have heard the gospel before doesn't mean you don't need it today. Just because God hasn't answered your prayer yet doesn't mean He won't. Sometimes His greatest works come in the most ordinary moments. When we stop appreciating, we start losing. Let us have a heart that welcomes Jesus. Nazareth closed its heart to Jesus, and as a result, Jesus moved on to another towns. This is a warning for us today. If we are not careful, we can become too familiar with God's presence and miss what He wants to do in our lives. Maybe you have been overlooked just like Jesus was in His hometown. Maybe your own family doesn't see your worth. Maybe the people closest to you doubt your potential. But take heart, God sees you. Even if people reject you, God still has a purpose for you. Jesus didn't let Nazareth's reject stop Him. He kept moving forward, blessing those who were willing to receive Him. And so should we. Rejection from man does not cancel God's calling on your life. We need a new mindset. Let's break free from over-familiarity. Let's open our hearts and expect God to do something fresh in our lives today. If you have been doubting, ask God to renew your faith. If you have been taking things for granted, start thanking Him daily. If you have been rejected, don't give up. God has greater plan for you. Let's be like the people in Capernaum, not like the people of Nazareth. Let's welcome Jesus into our lives with faith, honor, and expectation. May we never be so familiar with God and His holy words that we fail to recognize His power in our lives. Amen. Thank you, everyone. May God bless you all. Have a good day.